Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday afternoon and I'm here in the Let's Paint with Plaid studios. I want to tell you that we are so thrilled that you are joining us for our last new product showcase for the Plaid Crafts Facebook page. And you know what? I think they saved the best for last because I'm here today with none other than the Donna Dewberry. We're going to share with you some fun facts about the Let's Paint FolkArt one-stroke programs that we've had for 3 years now. And it's going to be so fun to share with you what we have available, what we've accomplished, what's coming up, and Donna's going to even demonstrate for us today. So I'm Chris Williams, and let's just dive right into it, shall we? Let's talk about the very first Let's Paint FolkArt one-stroke kit that we created, and this is 3 years ago now. So many of you out there have painted along with us, and it's been so fun. The first kit that we came out with, the theme was the Flower of the Month designs. There was one project for every single month, and it was the flower of the month. So for those of you that like to paint for birthday parties or birthday presents, you could then tune in to that flower of the month and paint that as a birthday gift. We also made it so easy for you that there was a kit available. In that kit there are 12 FolkArt multi-surface paint colors, and those are acrylics, which is great because it's water-based, and the FolkArt multi-surface paint goes on so many different types of surfaces. Throughout that whole year in those 12 projects, we showed you how the paint worked beautifully on canvas, on glass, on wood, and metal. In the kit, you'll also find 1 bottle of floating medium, the 10-pack brush set of the basic beginner one-stroke brushes, and there was a beautiful folder. This is probably the highlight for many, many people in the kit. This folder is a beautiful gift from Donna Dewberry herself. She hand painted every single folder that is involved in the kit. And I say folder because we use this as a storage folder. When you get your kit and you open it up, not only do you have a welcome letter and showing you all the supplies that are available in the kit, but you have a reusable teaching guide. These are so important to the FolkArt one-stroke method of decorative painting. We have one reusable teaching guide for every single month. This is January, the Carnation, and when you flip it over, you'll see that Donna has painted her strokes, teaching you step by step by step how to build the strokes to create a carnation. And so there's one reusable teaching guide for every single month. And so throughout the year, we painted everything from the January flower of the month, which is the carnation, all the way through to December. And December is the paper white, which is a beautiful, beautiful design. So many of you painted along with us and you shared your work in the Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group using the hashtag Let's Paint Challenge. And we were thrilled to see all of the work and the beautiful flowers of the month that each of you painted. And you think, how could you top that? Well, we tried. The second year we introduced the FolkArt one-stroke Wreath of the Month program. And when you look behind me, you'll see all kinds of wreaths and wreath shapes. The wreaths were painted so that you could decorate your own door. So many of us live in places where perhaps you have a storm door and a full door and you don't have room for the full beautiful silk floral arrangement of a wreath on the door. Well, we made it simple for you that you could paint on a piece of wood, create a beautiful floral design. We did one for every single month, and Plaid made it easy for you yet again. There was a kit put together. In that kit, you will see that there are 12 FolkArt multi-surface paint colors. There's Donna's famous one-stroke painter sponges. There's floating medium. And again, we have another beautiful hand-painted folder that Donna created for us. That folder is for the Wreath of the Month kit, and you'll notice that that one is different than the Flower of the Month kit. That wreath is beautifully painted. When you open up that storage folder, you're going to see again a welcome letter, and that illustrates all 12 different monthly designs. And it was so nice that you could paint on so many of the different shapes. There was a round shape, an oval shape, and a square shape wreath. And each one was, I think, more beautiful than the other. Donna made so many beautiful, beautiful wreaths for us. In that kit, also in that storage folder, you will find the 12 reusable teaching guides. And again, those guides are available, one for every single month's lesson. All of our reusable teaching guides are coded. So not only do you get to see Donna's strokes there, but you actually get to practice your strokes directly on top of Donna's strokes. It's almost like having the teacher at home with you. Each month you learned how to do all different kinds of flowers, and by the end of the year we did a gorgeous winter wreath, and we had pine cones and so many different fun elements. And that was a great way to create another wreath of the month. In that kit, you'll also find FolkArt Treasure Gold. It's the most highly pigmented metallic gold paint that's on the market. And we added that so that if you wanted to add a little bit of shimmer or glimmer to your wreaths, it made a perfect accent. This year, in our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook, this year in our Let's Paint program, we have thought, okay, well, we did Flower of the Month and we did Wreath of the Month. What can we do now? So we came up with an idea of creating hometown themed projects. And so many of you are painting along with us. Again, I've seen beautiful, beautiful designs. Again, you're posting your work in the Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group using the hashtag Let's Paint Challenge. It's been so fun to see everyone paint the January project, which is this beautiful plate right here on the table next to me. And the fun thing about the Hometown program is not only are you painting along and learning all different types of floral arrangements, you're also learning how to do some lettering this year. This kit is a great kit because in this kit, you're going to receive, again, FolkArt acrylics. This is the multi-surface formula. Again, it goes on wood, on glass, on tin, on terracotta, on fabric. There's 12 colors in this kit, along with 1 bottle of floating medium. We've included several different one-stroke brushes that are the ones that you will need to create the hometown pieces. And again, Donna has done it one more time. There is a gorgeous hand-painted folder. The hydrangeas that you see featured on the front of this folder are combining some of the things that you're going to learn in the month of June. When you open up this storage folder, you'll see not only the welcome letter and the supply list, you're going to see a photograph of what could be a gorgeous gallery wall display of all of the 12 projects for this particular year. And also in this kit, you're going to receive stencils. This is something that we've never included in the FolkArt one-stroke designs before, but we have an uppercase and a lowercase, 2 different stencils, which makes it perfect so that if you choose to personalize your hometown designs this year, you can then personalize with a family name or anything else that you might want to personalize. Perhaps it's your address when you paint your home. The nice thing also about this kit is that you are going to receive 9 double-sided sheets of patterns and artwork. This too is something new and different for the FolkArt one-stroke method. Normally Donna paints everything freehand and you're learning by muscle memory, but this year we thought to make it easy for you, both with the lettering and creating the signs, but as well as painting the houses, the barn, the windows and the doors, to keep the designs and the shapes and the perspective of everything correct, we're giving you those patterns. It is so easy this year for you. Easy, easy, easy to follow and paint along with Donna. The other side of the storage folder, again, you're going to receive 12 reusable teaching guides, 1 guide for every single lesson. Again, these lessons are monthly. And this year so far, we have shared with you both January, February, and March's lessons. Soon, just in a matter of a couple days, we're going to release the April project and the April lesson. And it's just a great kit because not only are you going to be able to paint along with Donna that way, you can also, like our first 2 seasons of Let's Paint Folk Art One Stroke, with the Hometown series, you're going to not only paint along with Donna by using the reusable teaching guides, you get to paint along with Donna by following our videos. We have step by step instructional videos for each and every lesson. The videos can be found in several locations on plaidonline.com/Let's Paint. You can also find all of the lessons on the Plaid Crafts YouTube page or channel. And one more place, in the Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group. All of the videos for every single lesson of all of the Let's Paint Folk Art One Stroke years that we've done so far, all lessons can be found in all of those locations. So I think it's pretty exciting that we have Donna here with us today, and without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Donna because what she's going to do today is just demonstrate a little bit of some very simple, basic folk art one-stroke painting techniques. So without further ado, Donna, welcome to the Plaid Studios.
Hi guys. Are you excited to learn how you can be painting right there at home with me? I'm telling you, Plaid has made this so amazing for you and for me. So I'm excited to share with you a few things besides our tool. We have 3 different tools that make it so great for you as you're beginning to paint and as you continue paint. And I want you to see that we, besides the brushes we're going to use that are in the kits, we also have this brush caddy. So this is where you clean out your brushes really good and prepare them for the next color. We do not paint with water, but guess what? We use water to clean our brushes. All right, so the second thing I want to share with you is I have a palette. And this palette, I've already put my double loader in it, but this palette will hold foam plates. So you just take out this piece that I'm going to put in, but it holds a foam plate right in there. And so it'll hold your paper towels. You can put your floating medium in here. This is a wonderful stand at an easel, stand up wherever you're painting and be able to hold it and be ready to paint. Now I'm using this 1, 2, 3, 4-piece tool here. All right, this is a sponge because I've had somebody lately say, do I put paint in these holes in here? They were confused. So you're going to dampen this sponge, put a lid on it, okay? And if you squeeze out your paint and you have to run out of the house like I have many times, or leave class and go home, or take a break, you just line up these little notches with these notches, pop it on, and it goes forever without drying, so that's really nice. So that will keep your paint fresh. And so what I want to share with you next is how we work with this paint. All right, so before I got started here, I went ahead and base coated this with citrus green and wicker white. And I took my 3/4 inch brush and I just slapped and got a movement, all kinds of different look that you will find every time you watch one of my shows. One of my lessons, I teach you different backgrounds, so that makes it really fun. So what I'm going to do first is do my first step of showing you how to load. So we're going to take our 3/4 inch flat brush, we're going to lay it and take the excess water out of this. When you first get these brushes, they're really stiff because they have sizing in them. So make sure you wash that out. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to split the brush first to pick up paint, and then I'm going to go back and forth to work this in. Now what I've done all the way around this double loader is I have put the colors next to each other I'm going to use. But even here I'm going to use wicker white with magenta and wicker white with dioxazine purple. So then I'm going to go into my floating medium, and that keeps the floating medium from running all over the plate because I used to use only foam plates until we got this wonderful little loader.
And
okay.
Donna, while you're doing that, let's just share with everyone that if they have any questions today, be sure and type them in the comments section. I am following along on our iPad here, and I can easily relay any questions and comments to Donna. And Donna, while
Please.
you're doing that, we might have some new beginners with us today that may not be familiar with Folk Art One Stroke. Let's explain to them why you were putting 2 colors on that flat brush at the same time.
Okay, so the key to this is we want to blend, shade, and highlight with each stroke. And my way of doing this is I prep the brush with multiple colors. After you get more experience, you might add 3 or 4 colors to this brush. But we do 2 colors, but look what happens here. Can you see that? We go from white to medium tan to darker and darker. So it blends shades and highlights right on the brush before you even get on your piece. So I'm going to be showing you that with multiple flower colors and all as we go. But I want to get started on painting a heart wreath, and it's a real fun beginner project, so I'm excited to share that with you. I'm going to do 4 fingers down. They're not tight, they're loose fingers, and I'm going to put a dot in the center of the canvas. That's where the center of the heart is. I'm going to come down here and maybe do about 4 fingers there. And there's a dot, dot, 2 fingers here. Make a line. This is just regular chalk. And I hope you can see it because the light green's a little light. All right, so I'm going to cross here, come over, and then cross back. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is just a guide, like a map. All right, now why I wanted to teach this today is I want you to feel how it is to be in my class and how fun and simple the steps are and how I describe them. Now, when we're going to be on the chisel of the brush, and as we paint on the chisel of the brush, I'm gonna bring it up like this so you can see. I'm gonna touch, lift the front of it. So I don't want you to touch here and push down. I want you to touch, lift the front, and drag these little bristles behind. So don't have the whole brush down, and just do a wave coming around. Because there's so much paint in this brush, because I'm using a larger brush, a lot of people like to use a real skinny brush, a teeny brush. I always say get your big brush because it holds more paint. So look, I'm going to come around really loose. All right, now I'm just making a loose grapevine, so I'm going to come back here and do another loose vine. So see how simple that is? All right,
it looks like you're easily overlapping the basic guide that you first placed there, Donna.
Yes, perfect. So look, so that's why I said it doesn't have to be a perfect size shape heart, because I'm going to keep putting little winding vines. And I used to make grapevine wreaths white in the woods where I lived. And we would put painted wood pieces inside those grapevine wreaths. All right, so we never did heart ones. Those would be a little harder. So see how fun that is? I want you to get loose, relax, take a deep breath, and just be loose with the brush in your hand. Almost hold it so lightly that you almost drop it sometime when you're trying to do that vine. So see how easy that was? Now that's just a chisel edge stroke. Now I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to work with our double, let's put this over here. I'm going to work with our worksheet, and I'm going to get us prepped for the first thing that we're going to paint on here, and that is rosebuds right here. Look at this. And these are in the, both of these are in the Wreath of the Month I just showed you. This is February's and May's. All right, so I'm going to go with this one first, and we're going to do this rosebud. All right, so let's see. I'm going to teach you each thing, then we're going to put it on our project. So you'll be able to rewatch this and do this step by step with me. Okay, so we're going to pick up a 12 flat, wet it, and then we're going to come right over here. Oh, before I get started, let's make an eraser. All right, I'm going to fold.
An eraser?
Eraser. I'm going to want you to fold this into 4s. Okay, be sure you're asking questions. Okay, so
no questions so far, Donna, but we have 105 people.
Oh, thank you guys for coming on. So let me share with you that this paint is multi-surface, so it adheres for indoor, outdoor. It's got a sealer in it. So the sealer will make it stay on here because that's what it's supposed to do. So that's why I want the eraser, and I want to wipe it as soon as we get through our strokes, okay? Now, I'm not going to do a yellow rose today. I'm going to use a pink rose. So I'm going to go in between the 2 colors. Then I'm going to come right here and work it in really good. Pick up more. Now look, I'm putting lots of pressure.
And let's tell everyone what colors you're using, Donna.
Magenta and wicker white. And now let me share with you. I want you to go pressure on all of them. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to put pressure, and I want to go really fast and work this in. Not because I want you to be fast, because that's how it's going to get inside the bristles. And you need paint inside the bristles for those bristles to stay together to do the stroke. So when I come back and I need more paint, I can go right here, or I could just dip the color I need, or I can go right here and split it. So we split the brush here, and right now we're splitting it in half. Then we flatten it over here. Now I'm not pushing hard anymore, guys. This is the important thing. Really hard at first, get the paint all inside. Now, right here, I want the paint on the surface of the brush, okay? So more paint than you ever thought if you have painted before. Let me put this right here. So let's come right here. You can stroke out and see this is what color that rose is going to be. You can see the shading. You're going to start your stroke right here. We're going to start on a chisel and end on the chisel on every stroke, okay? So we start right here. We put pressure. We do a light wave. If you're lefty, you'd start on this side and go the opposite way. And then you follow the numbers. Here's 1, 2, and I need more paint, so I went over there and stroked into my loading area. 3. Excuse me. Okay, let's come right here again. Let's get some more. All right, so now that was 1, 2, 3. Here's 4 and 5. 4 goes right here in the middle. See, we practice up and over.
Almost like a rainbow.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Up and over. Then we're going to start right here again and look at the white because you need to form a U. All right, now this is the key. You're going to up and over. The brush is flat. You're going to touch. See my little finger? You're going to touch and keep the brush flat as you come up and around. So up and over. Then I'm going to do the U. And I'm keeping it flat the whole time. All right?
Donna, I do have a question for you.
All righty.
And the question is, you paint so many beautiful flowers. Do you have a favorite flower that you like to paint?
Well, what was really funny is when I was young, a young married woman having my little ones, I had 7, I thought roses were tacky for old people.
Oh my goodness.
I did.
I think the rose is the one that most people request from you.
I know, but I thought silk flowers were tacky, and especially if they were roses. Not live ones, but silk ones. And we used to have silk flowers back then. Well, guess what? I love roses today, and that's the thing I like painting most with people is my rose. And I've come up with many different ways. You see how this is starting to dry on here? I got busy talking instead of wiping it off. See that? Now it will wipe off, but don't wait till you have to scrub it off, okay?
Donna, I see so many of our friends that we know and love well through the Let's Paint community as well as through the One Stroke community. And our good friend Gilbert said that was a great question, and he too felt that the cabbage rose was going to be your favorite to paint.
Well, you were right, Gilbert. I bet it's your favorite too. You're all over TikTok and all with it. Okay, so I want you to see, thanks for being on, guys. I'm going to head this rose going down, okay? Now, I don't have that one exactly perfect and shaded like I want, but the beauty of One Stroke is you can stroke right over it. But I'm going to come up here and do another one, up and over, U, a bigger U, and a couple of little strokes on the side. All right, so I'm going to do 3 right here. It's a triangle. All right, so this one, we just, Chris and I just shared with a new person here at Plaid, a gentleman. And Jason, we just taught him how to do this little rosebud, and he did it probably within 15 minutes.
It's a great little beginner stroke to learn. It's very easy to accomplish. And once you learn how to properly load that paintbrush and practice those strokes on the reusable teaching guides, it really is very, very simple.
Okay, now you see I put 2 lines. Here's the line, line the line. Those lines really help you when you're beginning. You can, after you see the lines in your mind, you don't have to keep putting the lines. But look, these little rosebuds are making an arch around the wreath. So see, there's your placement. And there's your rose. Okay, so let's learn another. And remember, another flower. But remember, say I'm unhappy with this stroke. It's not showing up as well as I want. I can just put a new stroke. And I'm not worried about this right here, the grapevine showing through. And lots of people worry about that, but look, I'm just gonna go right back over it and put some greenery. When we're all done, you won't even see that.
I think those rosebuds are beautiful.
Thank you. Look at all the shading. You get blending, shading, and highlighting, guys, and every stroke. That's the beauty of it.
And
So,
Donna, I would love for you to share with everyone another beautiful basic beginner flower, and let's teach everyone how to do a daisy.
there you go. I knew you were going to say that.
You read my mind.
Yeah, let's try a daisy. I don't want another pink daisy, but maybe we can put some white daisies because they're the easiest, guys, because this is all you're going to do.
And as Donna said, this reusable teaching guide is from the Wreath of the Month kit, and that was from the month of May, and we did the oval wood shape in a horizontal format, and it is absolutely gorgeous hanging on the door. It was just a wreath of nothing but daisies.
Okay, so these daisies show a full daisy, a side view of daisies, a little bud daisies, and you get to practice and wipe it off and practice and wipe it off. I just messed up my last eraser. So
And Donna, I have a question for you.
Wait 1 second. I'll be right there. Wait a minute. I'm going to show y'all I do a clock. So I'm going to do the 3 strokes to do a clock first and then fill in between. So I'm going to practice this while you're asking me that question.
Okay, this is a question from Jane, and she would like to know what size brush you are using right now.
Oops, 12. You caught me. I didn't say it. Is it
And
12?
also, did we talk about specifically the color names that you're using?
Okay, I was going to use white, but I was afraid y'all couldn't see it. So this is what I've done. I have white on here, but now I just grabbed some magenta, wicker white and magenta. So see?
And
now,
we have another question when you're ready, Donna.
I just want to tell you one thing while I'm right here. Floating medium is what I would use usually on my strokes, but when you are doing stroke work with a 12, usually you don't need floating medium unless you're on a really dry surface, okay? Then watch this. I'm going to dip the handle of my brush into my yellow, and I'm going to either put 1 dot or multiple little dots, but I show you all of that right there on the guide. Okay, Miss Chris, what's up?
Okay, this is a great question, and it's from our friend Connie. And we've talked about the reusable teaching guide, and we've shown how we have the color blends on there and how to do this, practice your strokes. And like I said, it's just like having the teacher at home with you. But we did not yet talk about, does the reusable teaching guide mention the brush size?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I am so sorry. I should have shared that with y'all. Look, great question. It also tells you what colors are here. This is a scruffy brush. It tells you in the background that we use the brush to do this. And this says size 12 to do the daisy. And then it counts them out for you, what's first, second, and third. Then it tells you all the brushes that you're going to use on this sheet. Shows you what project we did, the lesson. And look, here's a scruffy. This is a 1/4 inch scruffy. It says that you double load it with the 2 colors that you do, and then the little dots. It does everything along with the lesson that I'm going to be teaching you. All right, so I am going to go back to the white. See, I get both sides of the brush. All right, so let's try that clock again. 12, I'm going to push down. Just remember, we're on the chisel, so what we need to do is pressure, lift, pressure, lift. What I don't want you to do is do pressure and pull the same pressure all the way. I want you to lift so you see a pedal. And then you can either put 1 stroke in the 1 stroke pedal in the middle, push, lift, or we can do a couple more here. 1, 2, 3, and then just do a couple in between. So I just keep picking up little bits of white, and here's a bud, look. Little, little, little. There you go.
Donna, for the sake of our beginner friends out here, let's share with them the great tip that we have so that they know how to pull the strokes into a certain point. What's that great beginner tip that we like to share with our beginners?
Okay, this is what I do. I put a dot. Is that the one you're talking about?
It's exactly the one I'm talking about, Donna.
Yeah, we want to put a center. See, we put a center because it makes it easy, because then you know where to go, where you're going to, because this is what you do. I promise you this will happen to you. You'll start here and pull out, and then you're going to have points. Now, there's probably a flower that looks like that, I'm sure. But then I have to go around and go, no, we're pulling in, okay? Pull those strokes in, and then we're gonna fill, and this is just white, guys, and the white just pops and makes this whole project look just a lot brighter. Okay, so I put a pretty big one there, so I'm gonna go over here and make this one a little large too. So see how nice? Stroke it and lift. Pressure, lift. I used to say a fat or a skinny, but we don't want to talk about weight, so.
No, Donna, no, we don't want to go down that road.
We're going to go pressure or no pressure, because trying to stay fit is a lot of pressure. Okay, so I have to tell you, the best thing I think about painting for me is with 7 children and 29 grandchildren. Let me tell you, when I'm stressed or worried, I shouldn't be worried, I know that, but when I go through stress and worry, if I'm painting, I forget about my woes a little bit, okay? So, see, I'm putting just a few little petals, and I could keep going, but I get so far and then I decide I'm gonna come back later, okay?
Well, the great thing about learning how to paint, and we say this all the time in our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group, is that this is time that you need to carve out as me time. It's
Yes.
therapy time. It's enjoyment time. The world could pass by, and so do all your cares and your worries and concerns when you have a paintbrush in your hand. And we love, if you are not yet a current member of our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group, I invite you right now. We would love for you to join us. It's so much fun. It's a warm, caring community. We have lessons by Donna Dewberry, by Priscilla Hauser, by our own Andy Jones, and occasionally I get to guest teach as well. It's just a very nice, warm, caring, learn to paint community.
You will learn to start collecting Miss Chris Williams' Christmas ornaments. She works all year on them, and so during the holidays, be looking for those. Okay, so look, I always ask her, how many have you painted so far this year? All right, now we need some leaves. I have some fun little projects.
Oh, Donna, please share the basic one-stroke leaf with us, okay?
Okay, that's a perfect one. Let's start with that, okay? I'm not supposed to scrape that across there because it's going to get your ears, so I'm sorry. All right, so let's look at, this one is in the rose again, but I have leaves here too, all right? So every one has some kind of leaves usually, unless we're doing pine needles or pine cones. All right, so there's a couple of colors I like combinations. I do sap green and citrus green, but this one I wanted to try some teal and citrus green. So I still have the number 12. I dampened after I cleaned it. I dried it on the paper towel, and I'm picking up my color. All right, so I'm going to come right here and work it in. All right, we have lots of fun tips and tricks I teach you about ghost shadowing when we're doing leaves, well, about adding little curlicues and details. All that makes it really fun in our lessons for you, like you saw Andy earlier today. Look at me. All right, I want to show you how wonderful this is. All right, I just streaked that paper towel and that palette across there, and look, because this background is base coated with multi-surface, look how fast that came off of there.
Well,
All
and
right.
one thing that we may not have mentioned yet with the FolkArt multi-surface paints, other than the fact that they work on so many different types of surfaces, it is a water-based paint. It does clean up out of your brushes and your tools with simple soap and water, but it also dries to a gorgeous satin finish.
Oh yes, I love that part.
And the sealer in it, as Donna was demonstrating, is what protects the first layer, so that when she just wiped off the little smear,
Yeah.
it did not affect the base coat underneath.
I did that on purpose just so y'all could see how great
That was a
that
fabulous teaching moment, Donna.
Yes, it was. And you jumped right in on that, Ms. Chris. All right, look, I'm going to come right here and see that I like my blend. See that? Okay, now to do the one stroke leaf, we're going to start here. Let's don't do that again. All right, we're on the chisel and we're going to put pressure. All right, you have to have fullness to get a pretty leaf. All right, this is not what I want. All right, and I don't want this. How many of y'all think the leaf shaped like that? It must be something in our heads because that's what most people do first. So you touch here, pressure, you get your fullness. Now, which side's closer to the tip over there? This side or that side? It's the citrus. So look, I just stand up right there and there you go. So do it slow first, put pressure, stand up, and lift.
And like Donna said, every single FolkArt one stroke brush stroke starts and ends on the chisel edge when you're working with a flat brush.
Yes.
So if you watch Donna do that leaf one more time, you'll see that she started on the chisel edge and she ended on the chisel edge.
Okay, so right here, touch, pressure. That was my chisel, pressure. Now I have to slowly stand to the chisel. My problem with newbies is that you go like this. Okay? Slowly, pressure. Now slowly stand up, up. There you go. And then I just take that first stroke I taught you, the vine, and I pull a stem up in there by lifting the front. And there you go. See how you get the, and I like to do one and then two coming out from it when I get started here. Okay, so I'm gonna now put some of these. Sorry, I'm gonna clean this up so I'm good, and a good example to you, right? All right.
And that's what's so great about the reusable teaching guides. Because they are coded, you can practice a stroke, wipe it off, re-practice that stroke, and again, try it a third time before you actually go to your surface.
Exactly.
That coding helps protect Donna's artwork. And like I said, with all the practicing at home, it's almost like Donna's sitting at the kitchen table there with you.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Chris. I want you to know that this should feel like butter. But when it's starting to dry out a little bit, what I want you to do is that's when you know, like, this is getting thicker and pasty feeling. I'm going to dip a little bit of medium, and then I'm going to work it in. Now, this is the key with the floating medium. The floating medium, you only pick up paint floating medium every 2 to 3 strokes. All right, don't do it every stroke, because then I see people that looks like they've used our paint like watercolor, and it just gets muddy. So we don't want it muddy, but we want it to feel like butter, just like soft butter. All right, so here we go. Now I'm going to take that same leaf that we just learned, and I'm going to put a few of them in here. Now, one little trick, let me get some white. Let me show you how I do that. I just picked up a little bit of white and worked it in there so it would cover better on this citrus green background already. Okay, so let me show you what I do. I want leaves to go this way. You see I have some pointing this way, some of the flowers, and some going this way. So let me show you. If you turn this around and you put your fingers this way and this way, all the way around, because people say, I don't know where to put the next petal. I don't know where to put the next stroke. All right, so it might be easier for you to come upside down and pull them away like this. All right, a little bit more. And I'm picking up the teal because it gives it a fresh look. All right, so look, I'm going to come right in here.
And Donna, while you're adding a few leaves there, I've got a great question from Kathy.
Okay.
And Kathy is asking us about the FolkArt multi-surface paints. And can they be used outdoors? And Kathy, the answer is yes. There is a sealer built into the FolkArt multi-surface paint. And it, like I said earlier, it dries to a gorgeous satin finish, but that sealer will protect it. Now, if you were putting a piece outdoors, matter of fact, I've painted my own mailbox, and I did not seal my mailbox. And the paint, let's see, I've had mine on for like 2 years now, and it's still just as bright and vivid as I did it a couple years ago. If you do want to add extra protection to your piece, a yard sign or some yard art that you're doing, by all means, you can add the FolkArt outdoor varnish on top of it for added extra protection, but it's not all that necessary.
I know, I love it on clay pots, all sorts of outdoor projects.
And that was a great question, Kathy. Thank you.
Okay, now what I want to share with you, I know you're wondering, when am I going to fix that daisy I messed up? All right, so I forgot, I kept forgetting, and I needed to wash the screen out of my brush really quick. Are y'all seeing that? So far, that doesn't look too difficult, right? All right, so then, I know y'all believe me, right? I can hear you. Okay, so look, push. And I don't want you to say, oh, it is easy for you. I want you to look at this and believe. And I have on YouTube, I do relax and paint. I like you to take a deep breath in the morning, pick out, like Chris said, that hour of the day that's yours, and make an hour. Even with 7 children, I would get up really early, or I'd stay up really late, and it was my me time. The only time I got in trouble is my husband said, you're grumpy when you stay up all night. So then I have to pretend to be happy when I'm tired. Okay, so I wanted you to see this, but then I have a really fun treat that many people love as beginners, and that is...
And you know what, Donna? There's one brush I would love for you to highlight for us right now in that value pack set.
Yeah.
There's a brush that's called a scruffy, and we haven't used that yet today.
Can you read my mind?
Why don't you show us what to do with a scruffy brush?
Okay. All right. Chris got me. All right. So here's my scruffy brush. This is natural hairs. The others were synthetic nylon right here. Taclon. I say it?
Taclon.
Taclon. All right. I just lost it. All right. This is natural hair. Don't ask me what hair, but it's natural hair. And so what I do with this is I pounce it like this instead of raking it in the brush basin to clean them. I have multiple sizes of this, but in our kit we have the 1/4 inch and the 3.5 inch.
3/4 inch.
3/4. Yes. All right.
3/4 inch scruffy.
So
and a
what I
1/4
want you to do is fluff this brush. There's no instruction to tell you that because you have to put it in multiple languages and it'll take too much space. But see, you fluff it like a little makeup brush. All right. So now look what we're doing. We always paint with this dry. So we're pouncing on 1/2, like if you had an egg and you cracked an egg, half of the oval is going to be purple and the other half is going to be white. Can you see that? Pounce, 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 pounce. It's light but firm. It's not squished. It's
Maybe
not,
you could, once the brush is loaded to your pleasing, let's show that to the camera because it's a small brush.
Yeah.
So that everyone can see the close-up.
Can they see that? All right. So look, people do this. Bam, bam, bam. Well, that might look cute, but that's not what we're doing. I want it to be tap, 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 tap. Now, the problem is, look, if you over tap it in one spot, you lose all your pretty color. See that? So this is what I want you to see. I'm going to do a little wisteria. All right? So it's going to come right in here, right here. Oops, I like the white up, I think. Let me get some more white. All right, so I have a little bit of white up. And then I trail it. So I like to show you how I trail it. Let's find a better place. Right here. So I pounce kind of like a round area. So here's a round area. Now I'm going to lay it on its edge. And I don't worry that I'm going over a leaf. Don't worry about if you go over a petal or a leaf. Just enjoy it, okay? Just lay out. That's why I don't use patterns. I use my flowers to lay out my design. I have some on both sides. You see that? I have triangles of the same color, the same flowers. I'm going to come in here, round area, then tilt the brush and tap the edge.
This is like magic. We're seeing a heart-shaped, filled with flowers appearing right before our eyes.
And these are all beginner flowers. I promise you. I have people doing this in their first hour-and-a-half class, and they go home and look how many strokes you just learned. Believe it or not, the one that people say are the hardest is the one-stroke leaf, which if you do that little slider leaf like I showed you, it's really not difficult. Okay, I got carried away a little bit. Let me put a little bit. I'm just trying to balance it off. You see that? All right, so I've got just a couple little things I want to share with you. To me, it's still too tight. All right, so a couple of things. You can use that medium. And let's get a little bit of this purple here. And this is my dried off number 12 flat with floating medium. We're going to come right here to the floating medium, and we're going to make it transparent.
And what color is that you're working with,
This is the mixed dioxazine purple and wicker white. All right, so I'm going to try it first. There we go. We're going to come along here, and I want you to go to a point on those two, and you do take and put your stem in those also.
And just for our beginner's sake, that was not just the paint straight, that's the floating medium that is making the paint a little bit more transparent so that Donna can then paint the shadow leaves.
Shadow leaf, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. I forgot. It's my shadow leaves. Okay, so now one of the things, so in that, look at the difference in that side and that side. And I'm getting carried away here. I gotta sign it and share it with you. Now
I can't wait to see what type of a brush you use for your signature and your curlicues.
Yeah, so also I want you to know that I would love to hear from you. I'd love for you to watch some of our online lessons, get excited, pick up the kit, share with us on our Let's Paint group, and see, look, didn't that just change the whole look? All right, so I'm gonna go to my liner. This is a 2-script liner. The citrus isn't gonna show well, so I'm gonna go to this teal color. And you could use see this is a sap green, you could have used that too. All right, so this is the only time I know you said I don't paint with water, didn't I? But you do with the script liner. So then I roll the brush, okay? And it's good, you might wanna practice this on something really quick, watch. See how I'm practicing that on your teaching guide or on your counter? No, I get pieces of paper. And then I want you to see that you move this from your shoulder, my whole shoulder, not my wrist, not my fingers. I hold it like a pencil, then I put it up to my knuckle there, and then I'm gonna make circles with my little finger. So then I start in the middle. Now at first, this is what I tell you to do at first. At first, just come in here and do some loosey-goosey, like really loose little vines, okay? And then when you get better, when you're more comfortable, you can do some curls. But please, I have so many people that go like this all over their whole piece. Don't do that.
Like a cyclone?
Yes. I'm like, looks like it hit it and you can't even see anything now. Okay, but look, see, I messed up. I don't like that. I don't mind showing people when I mess up because everybody does that. So to come back here and make another curl, you can just wipe that off. And people are so afraid.
And the reason the paint flows so beautifully from that number 2 script liner is because Donna did add just a touch of water to make it more like an ink-like consistency. With the paint, it is so rich and so full and so creamy as it comes from the bottle, you would not be able to do those beautiful tendrils and signatures and so on unless you thinned that paint a little bit.
Now what I want you, thank you, Chris. What I want you to know, guys, is that I made this like a fountain pen. I have it where some people try to cut off the little line, the little hair at the end of this brush, but I want it fuller here so it holds paint and it runs straight down. So if you're laying it like this, you're not going to get this. You're going to get a fold or something that's not quite as pretty. All right. And I got 1 second. I'm going to throw one more little thing in here.
I would love that.
I was going to do a string bow, but you probably want something else. So.
Oh, I do. I would rather not do the string. Oh, you already started. Never mind.
I can.
I was going to ask you to add a bumblebee or, well, you probably don't have blackout. Let's do a quick little butterfly for everyone.
Does that sound good, guys?
Because a lot of the butterfly could be simply the same daisy petal stroke. You can even use that same 1-stroke leaf stroke for some wings.
Okay, we got to hear from you. Who wants the butterfly?
I think we're going to do the butterfly, Donna.
Yeah.
Chris just voted.
I'm just asking them if they want to see it. Then you have to let us know you're happy that you're
I
here.
think everyone has enjoyed watching you paint some of the basics of FolkArt 1-stroke today.
This is great 1-stroke basics for you guys, I promise. Now, what Chris was telling you, one of the things that we do on here is I'm going to take a little bit of sap green. I'm going to put a head. I want a head there and a head here really quick so I know where I'm going from. I picked up wicker white and moon yellow. All right, so I'm going to start.
We're getting many votes for butterflies right now, Donna.
I'm getting them?
Yes.
See? All right, so y'all deserve it. Look, I'm going to push down the leaf, remember? Push pressure and stand up to that dot. All right, so I'm gonna pick up a little bit more white. I'm gonna come right here, push, pressure, stand up. And while I've got that much paint in there, I'm gonna come over here and do it to this one too. Pressure, lift. More white on this background. Can y'all see that? There we go. See that? Another one. Are you having fun yet?
Donna, we have a comment from one of our viewers, and her name is Jessie, and she says, my 13-year-old has fallen in love with Donna.
Oh, that's that Daisy. Well, tell her I'm thrilled to have her watch and paint with me. That's awesome. And you go to school and show your art, and your teachers are gonna, they told my grandson, he said, I painted this, and the teacher said, it's not nice to lie. And he was devastated, and his mom had to go in the next day and say, he did paint this.
And Jessie, as the mom, I highly encourage you to encourage your child with the art. And I don't know if you know that Andy Jones and myself, we both started as teenagers painting. So
that's right.
It's a wonderful way to enjoy me time, and it could possibly turn into a career for your child.
Did you see the little antennas I put on there? So I laid the script liner down to get the body, and I stood up on the tip of the script liner to get the antennas. So this is lay it down, lift, and this is touch and lift. All right, there you go.
Well, Donna, I think you've done a beautiful, beautiful job. And let's just kind of recap real quickly what we've got here in the Let's Paint community. With Donna Dewberry, using the FolkArt one-stroke method, we still have kits available for the Flower of the Month, the Wreath of the Month, and of course this year's hometown theme. And I'd love to share with you also, when we're talking about the Wreath of the Month, we have the wood shapes too, because you're thinking, well, I would love to paint a wood wreath, but I don't know where to get this, and my husband doesn't have a saw, or I don't cut myself. So Plaid has it made convenient for you in that we have the wreath shapes available. This is a round shape. They're pre-drilled with holes at the top, so they're very easy to hang. They're raw wood on both sides, so you can paint 1 month on one side, flip it, and paint another month on the back side. This measures about 19¼ inches around. So again, we mentioned earlier that there are 3 different shapes. I'd love to share with you that we also have an oval shape. And the nice thing about the oval is with the holes drilled across this way, you can hang it oval in a vertical format, or you can hang it with the holes drilled this way in a horizontal format. And the last shape is a square. And the square we used in the month of February, different from a square. It's again, it's got holes drilled so that you could hang it like in a square format, but there's holes drilled in the corner too. So it could be hung on a diamond like we did in the month of February. So all of these wood wreath shapes, the kits, they're all available on plaidonline.com/Let's Paint. And I would love for you all to grab a kit and begin painting with Donna. Like I mentioned, it's like Donna in a box or Donna at home with you, because all of the practice guides are included in each of the kits. Once you do paint with Donna, if you have not yet joined our Facebook community, I welcome you to please do that. It is Let's Paint with Plaid. I promise you will love our community. And when you do join, be sure and take pictures of your work and post it too, using the hashtag Let's Paint Challenge. And I think that's about it, Donna, unless you'd like to say anything else.
I just want to show them I added a few dots, and it was so great to be here with you. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing this at you. See all the little dots with the handle? And I want you to think that giving this to somebody not only gives you blessings of peace, but it also touches other people's lives. So paint your greeting cards, paint anything, just start painting. So let's.
Thank you, Donna, for being with us today.
Yes.
We really enjoyed it.
Thank
and
you.
I want to thank all of our viewers who have tuned in to this full week of our Plaid New Product Showcase. I hope you've learned an awful lot about Plaid this week, and I cannot wait to see your painted pieces in our Let's Paint community. So until next time, let's paint!